Wish I had something to
Hey everybody, it's now 7 minutes past 6. Good evening to you. It's Graham Coath, it's My Music, and I'm joined by Magic Wands. Good evening, or good morning, folks.
Hello.
Good day.
Yeah, what what time of the day is it there?
10:30 in the morning.
Oh, that's far too early, isn't it?
Yes.
Sorry, very sorry about that. It's one of those things when you do things across the wide expanse that we call the ocean. That here it's getting late, and there it's nice. Oh, you're joined by a cat.
Yes.
Do you have many of those?
Just one. Hi.
Just one. Hello. What's the cat's name?
Mau Mau.
It's Mau Mau.
Bash Moo. Mau Mau.
Bashnu Mau Mau. Wow.
Bash Moo. Ow, she's biting me.
Wow. Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Loved listening to the album. It took me back, actually, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all, because some of the sounds on there actually took me back to the 1990s and when I was a student and in a band, etc. And I was in a for better for worse, called an indie band back in the time. And there was some of the sounds were quite reminiscent of some of the people that I was listening to at the time. But it's quite a fresh sound as well. In terms of influences, what I wanted to start there with you. What kind of influences have you had on your music?
Well, we both have pretty different influences, huh? Like I'm more into, British 80s, and he's more into,
Lots of stuff. I mean, it just depends, like what mood, like lately, for checking out like new bands. There's like a lot of Russian bands I like right now. And
Oh, really? Yeah.
There's a few good ones actually. And then there's some like, I don't know, there's a couple like vaporwave things that are pretty good. But then, there's a lot of like the classic like punk kind of influences that we like, and kind of like a lot of the New York stuff, I feel like.
Ramones, he likes.
Yeah.
Things like that, like short songs, that are like to the point. We kind of try to have that kind of structure with the music where we don't really go off into like real long things, So,
you're not into prog rock per se. No.
I mean, I grew up on, New Order and The Cure and Susie and Cocteau Twins and the Smiths and PIL and
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's just ingrained into my brain. When we write, we don't really listen to other music, so whatever comes out is kind of subconscious. Sometimes I have to be like, wait a minute, this sounds just like something I've heard before. Let me see what that is.
Well, what I really like about it though is I love the driving beat through all of your songs, which is really which is really good and kind of hypnotic. The hypnotic sound,
right?
If you get me, that's really good. And for me, and I don't like drawing comparisons at all for musicians, but for me, the one band from my past that kind of came out as Curve. I don't know whether you remember a band called Curve.
I love their song Horror Head. That's the one that stands out for me.
Yeah. It's just for me, it's kind of that. Doppelganger was the album for me. That whole album, and it's kind of the sort of spiraling, driving sound with with a good melody in there, but sort of textured at the same time, and it's songs that you could really lose yourself in as well, which I actually ended up doing because I ended up being very ill when I first listened to that album, and I took a lot of sulfadine, and which don't do that, kids, and and I ended up almost high on it. But it was kind of that sound that I kind of first heard. So but a little bit of the Cure as well, the early Cure, if anything else, in terms of things like a Forest, things like that kind of dun, 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 driving beat.
Yeah, I mean,
all the way through it.
My favorite Cure is from 79 to probably 92. I mean, now maybe like 89 or something. 79 to 89.
Yeah. So the earlier Cure stuff where it's a little bit more, it's not so elongated. Before they went prog.
Yeah, it started to get really produced and lush sounding, which was great. I mean, their album in 92, the Wish album, was amazing, but I like the stripped down.
It was more punky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the beginning, yeah, absolutely. And so, tell me, what in terms of what you write about, is there anything in particular that thematically that you always like to write about, or
I mean,
again,
we just stay on a few topics, you know, a few things like magic, dreams, and love.
well, they're all very, very wonderful
What
things
else is there?
Well, at the moment, not a lot at all, is there? No.
We actually do try to, like, we do have a specific, like, we don't do anything, like, we stick to anything that's like
fantasy
or not reality, or like we purposely do it that way, you know.
Yeah, we're like, you know, two adult children basically.
Two large children.
Yeah. Well, you've even got a
we're not getting serious and super hyper intellectual, you know. We're not getting complicated.
So no, you don't expect people to sort of delve deeper into your lyrics and try and find something deeper there that's actually, not there.
No, there is more there actually.
Right.
But it's done in a very simple formula.
Yeah.
You know, so because a lot of the songs they sound really simple, but there's actually a deeper meaning or story behind it, but you kind of really have to dig into that.
Yeah. Do you want people to find that, or do you want them to put their own interpretation on it?
They could put their own interpretation. You know, it's
not like here's the message. It's like there's a message for people. You know, it's like take what you want from it for sure.
You know, I don't think people would probably even get certain things.
I think that's always good. Really, with music, I think some singer-songwriters write in a very straightforward way, and it's all about, you know, you could not take it as anything else. It's either, you know, a very political song, or it's a very obvious heartfelt love song, or whatever. But I really enjoy music where everybody makes up their own interpretation and their own little world to it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember back in the clubbing days when clubs actually played music that wasn't just dance music. You know, I can remember going and listening for the first time to REM's "Losing My Religion" in a club, and of course, everybody sang the lyrics to that, but probably hardly anybody actually really knew what that song was about.
I know.
You know.
True.
But that's great. You know, it kind of encapsulated for everybody. Or, you know, Pixies, Monkey's Gone to Heaven. Again, you know, I'm really uncertain that everybody really understood what that song was about, but everybody made up their own little fantasy world with monkeys in it.
I've never given either of those songs much thought what they're about, but yes, I have sang along to them. So. Yeah,
exactly, because it's, you know, and in your own world, in your own little bubble, it means something. And that's great. So I think any artist that can achieve that, that's good. How do you write your songs? I mean, I don't mean literally, you know, pen and paper, etc. But how do you go about actually crafting these things?
It's pretty simple these days. We just kind of plug in a keyboard with a drum machine, and Chris will play the bass or guitar, and I'll start humming a melody.
Yep.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
It starts with lyrics, though. Like Dexy will have some lyrics written out, and you know, it's usually like some chords and some lyrics. It kind of starts with that. Like, this is kind of like the theme. This is like the feel. It's like a feel first. Like, what's it feel like? And then it's like we just keep seeing how it feels.
I mean, you're quite a sonic band, if you know what I mean by that. So, I mean, is part and parcel of it just what sounds are coming out as well? Does that kind of lead the song?
Sometimes, it just depends. Like, we mess around with a lot of effects, and sometimes we get like a darker tone, and the song will start taking off in a different direction.
Yeah, I always loved that when we were, as a band, we were writing. If ever the keyboard player brought home another keyboard, that always led to a slightly different direction in song, because you sit there and it goes, oh, this one can do this, and you just think,
right.
Suddenly you know, playing with toys suddenly develops into something a lot more creative.
Yeah, we do that too. We get order some, like, hey, look at this keyboard on the internet. Let's get this. See what, So we have a little nice collection of stuff, like, because it's nice to have new instruments and things to play around on, because you get different ideas.
Yeah,
playing on something different, but then we always kind of go back to the ones that we always use in the first place eventually.
So the experiment on the new stuff is helpful in terms of sort of widening the scope of what you do, but then you've got your old favorites in terms of feel and sounds and whatever that you gravitate back to. Yeah, no, totally get that.
Exactly.
No, that makes sense, especially if it's a keyboard that's weighted properly, or just feels nice to play. Then that's often the case. And you say you play bass and guitar as well. So when did you first start playing?
I started playing like when I was really young. Like, we always had like musical instruments in our house and stuff, so I'm pretty familiar with all the.
Yeah, but how old were you?
I don't know, like 12 or something. Or
wow. Yeah.
So like a long time, but like my grandmother had a piano, and like everybody had something in the house.
Were you allowed to play that piano?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, right, that's good.
It was in the basement, so they'd send me down to the basement to go play. Go play the piano, Chris.
Yeah, same with me. My grandfather played classical piano, so I think I started playing the keyboard when I was about 5, and then I picked up guitar when I was 15.
Yeah. What sort of music did I always ask this, but what sort of music did your parents both listen to? I mean, what were you surrounded with growing up?
The classics, all the hits, all the oldies, golden oldies, a lot of that stuff. A lot of the stuff from like the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Wow. Yeah.
80s.
Great Balls of Fire, that sort of thing. Yeah.
For me, I used to dig through my dad's record collection, and he had a lot of Pink Floyd and Fleetwood Mac and Led Zeppelin. But then
it's the prog and the hard rock. Okay.
My family's from England, and my uncle was, into the punk stuff. So he got me into the Cure and the Sex Pistols and Joy Division just at a really young age. I think I
was like 6.
Cool.
Well, I mean, I think my first Cure concert I was 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that just, even back then, that kind of resonated with you more than the sort of mainstream or even sort of the Floyd or heavier stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked Pink Floyd. I remember listening to that song, Another Brick in the Wall, like 500 times. I liked the chorus, all the British kids singing.
I loved that song. I mean, I remember when that was at the top of the charts, and I remember recording that on my dad's record player as it came through in the charts. I used to make up my own little radio shows at the time.
I went through a Madonna phase and Duran Duran, and
nothing to be scared of there. I mean,
it's the very first Madonna album's really good.
Yeah, right. Exactly that. I mean, it's quite edgy in a way. I mean, it's and and it's not overly produced, which is great as well. So I quite like that. But pop music as well is quite useful to any artist to listen to at any stage, because if you want to get a drift for what actually catches people's ear, then everything comes back down to pop at the end of the day. Where you go with that is what makes it interesting. And certainly,
if you take the structure of a simple pop song, but you don't have these like real, you have more interesting guitar sounds and tones, and you're using a drum machine. I love drum machines. Love the sound of the kicks and snares and drum machines.
Yeah. But everything, ultimately, you want something to kind of resonate with people. You want to kind of hang it onto something that has kind of a pop structure, but you just want something that ultimately people don't just listen to it once and then go, I've had all of that. I don't need to listen to this again. And for most artists that I think are in it for the long run and really enjoy the musicality of music, you want to actually build onto that structure, something that takes people on a journey every time they listen to it, and every time they listen to it, they hear something else. So what's in terms of the way you end up building your songs, is there anything, especially on this album, that you feel you've done absolutely right in terms of those little nuances that when you have to listen maybe 3 or 4 times to the album before you actually notice them?
I think it's maybe by like the second or third time you listen, I'm starting to hear these little things, but they were mostly mistakes. They weren't intentional. Mistakes
are great though, aren't they?
I think we rely on that. I'm not really like conscious about it when we're doing. We just kind of like in the moment. We just write and start recording, and then just keep adding and subtracting. And
we usually get, like, when we work on it, the music will be fast. Like, we'll get all the music done, and then when we start doing like the vocal, the singing and things like that, we'll kind of do it one time, and then we'll just stop, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll just say like, well, let's come back and like do that in a week. And then we come back in a week, and it gives us, you kind of listen to it and you're like, oh no, it should be more like this, because the singing part is like real specific. It's got to be like a certain way.
Yes.
For both of us, because we're real picky about how.
I was going to say, are you quite self-critical when it comes to vocals?
Yeah,
we're very critical of ourselves.
I don't like think of myself really as a singer.
Yeah, me
neither.
It's something you have to do.
It's another line in the
my voice is like an instrument. It's like adding.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't think people are always like, I can't hear the vocals. Turn the vocals up. What are you saying? And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, did you have that a lot as well, by the way, when you were growing up and starting to write music, etc., and you then played it back to your family? Did you get that kind of, well, I can't hear what you're singing about?
Yes. I'm like, it's called reverb. You're not gonna hear what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, no, I think I've been there, seen that, got the T-shirt for that as well. Yeah. It's so annoying, Mum and Dad so used to like a traditional kind of.
Yeah, they're the Beatles,
Yeah, right. Okay, and it's like, every word's got to be pronounced with the diction and the pronunciation absolutely right, and every word's got to stick out
too. So we, trying to make sure it, you kind of want to hear what you're saying, but
I do now more so than ever. This is maybe the first record where I'm like, okay, I really actually, I hope people can hear what I'm singing about,
Yeah, because the lyrics aren't just like, nonsense. It's like, it's all, we're writing a song, so, but we're not like a pop thing where you listen to pop music and the vocals like the loudest thing right in the front of everything, it's like, it's kind of different in that sense.
Yeah. Well, I think you're probably writing for an audience where you want that audience to have to lean in a bit, and therefore it's not a case of, you don't want it to be so, you want it to be heard because you've obviously got something to say, but you don't want it to be so obvious that, as you say, they can just go. You could stand a mile away and go, "That's what they're talking about." So you want them to lean in a little bit, etc. Is there a particular lyric on the whole album that you're most pleased with?
I like the lyrics in Magic Flower a lot.
I love that song. Yeah, that's
got a deeper meaning.
I have to say, I thought that was my favorite song on the album. So yeah,
there's a deeper meaning there in that song. It's not just about a flower,
It's not just about drugs.
No, whatever they are, children, don't do those. No. So what is that song about? Tell us about the deeper meaning, or are we not allowed to know?
You're gonna have to figure it out.
Oh, got to figure it out.
Tell me.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure, actually.
You don't even know.
Well, you wrote so.
Oh, I know exactly.
Let's not have a domestic over the meaning of that particular song. But it's a great song, and there's a nice guitar line in the middle of that song as well. So good on you for that as well. I mean, it suddenly has a nice little melodic line right in the middle where the instruments take over.
Nah, that was probably her guitar on that one.
Oh right, okay. So you both play guitar? You both play guitar?
Yeah.
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 We do all the music. We do the whole thing.
It's both of us.
Right. Do you ever squabble then over who does what bit?
One person.
Do you ever argue over whose bit gets more in the mix then, or
no?
No, it's quite diplomatic, etc.
Sounds the best.
I mean, actually, I don't play bass on any of the recordings. Chris plays the bass. He's a great bass player. We both sing. We both play guitar. And I do probably a little bit more of the keyboards.
Yep.
Or
Can I ask you, outside of your own music at the moment, because I assume you've been fairly locked down like most of us, and had a reasonable amount of time to listen to some music. What other music do you actually listen to that you rate at the moment?
I'm still listening to the stuff I've listened to my whole life, all the 80s bands.
You're still going back, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening today in the world musically. I don't pay much attention. Although Chris makes me, he'll like, let's listen to the Spotify top, indie artists or pop artists, and I just sit there like, this sucks.
Yeah.
The world's weird right now. It's like you listen to stuff and it's like, well, like I'm on another planet, I guess, or something.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're not out of touch musically with what's happening today. I don't care,
but we just don't touch it.
Yeah. The rest of the world is out of touch with music. I feel like
everyone sounds the same. Like there's this new voice that's coming about.
Oh yeah, I lost you there slightly for a minute. Hello. Hello, can you still hear me? Well, you seem to have lost Magic Wands there for a minute. Maybe we'll catch their sound back in a second. Hello, can you hear me? Oh,
sorry, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, yeah, we kind of lost you for a minute.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
Hold on.
Second.
No, it's fine.
God, are you there?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, my goddaughter is calling and calling. Like she won't stop calling. I keep hitting decline. She keeps calling.
No, well, that's fine. Listen, if you need to take that call, that's much more important than me.
No, she just calls 100 times a day. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Is our video working?
Your video is not working. No, now it is. There you go. Family comes before anything else. So if you ever need to do that, just Just
no,
go.
it's okay. She know. I told her not to call right now, but she'll call anyway.
I know what you're talking about, though. You were talking about there's a voice at the moment, or there's a style that's out there at the moment.
Auto-tune.
It's that auto-tune voice.
Oh,
Is that what
yeah.
you sing like this?
Like a Pro Tools
I'm gonna go down.
auto-tune. It's like Hunt.
Like my Instagram photo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great that people know how to use auto-tune. That's all I'm going to say.
It's two things. It's that voice, and then it's like that bummer vibe. It's like when a song comes on, and it's just the vibe of it. It's like a bummer. It's like, man, it's just, you just know it's going to be like a sad song, or it's going to be about like somebody's heart's broken or something.
Yeah.
It's rare to hear a song that feels like it's like, oh yeah, this is like a real joy to listen to. Like everything comes on, and it's got this like dark.
Hey, dark
sound.
is cool, but no, it's not dark
Not
in like a
everything.
cool way.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying, though, because going back to the Cure was dark, right?
But in a good way.
But in a good way, in a kind of, wanting to achieve something kind of way.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a different. I know it's I don't even know how to explain it, but there's two different kinds of bummer dark music, and
yeah. I think a lot of the stuff that we're talking, we were talking about before, I think it had a darkness to it, but I think there was a there was kind of either an angst, or there was a kind of movement behind the music, and a feeling behind the music that wanted to resonate about emotion or something real.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
And that's fine, like for sure.
I mean, maybe we're gonna do an auto-tune record, right?
Maybe we'll do a dark auto-tune album.
Yeah, really don't. Really don't.
I don't even know.
I will make it work and sound cool. I'll figure it out.
just stick to what I reckon is probably better. Let the rest of the world do that.
Yeah.
There's so much out there of that, and the other thing about it as well is, it's kind of sad that everybody wants to be everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all guilty of that at some point in our lives, I guess. But then eventually you're just like, I don't know, it gets kind of boring.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think when you are trying to sound and emulate something, so and you're good at it.
Yep.
I think you have a good chance at getting ahead, because people are really familiar with that sound and what you're doing, versus when we're doing something completely original that you like, people don't understand it as quickly. It takes longer for people to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I've never really understood that kind of whole culture anyway. I mean, I was in a band at one point with a guitarist who was also in an ABBA tributes band. Now, don't get me wrong.
ABBA?
I quite like some ABBA.
Yeah, ABBA.
It's ABBA's cool, right? And actually, there is an argument that ABBA were the first ever goth band, but yeah, interesting concept. But what gets me is that nowadays people pay more money to go and see someone play someone else's songs than someone play their own stuff.
Bands do great. There's quite a few. I mean, people go nuts. There's a Doors cover band, and I've seen some of their YouTube videos, and
I don't get it.
I think people really think that they're seeing the Doors, and if they're a good band and they sound like the Doors, girls are going crazy like it's Jim Morrison, and it's like it's interesting to watch. It's like, that's not really Jim Morrison.
No. What? And I don't get it. You
see,
him
and it sounds like him.
Because to me, going to see the band, the real band, is the only thing. If you see something else that's a carbon copy of it, it's great, but it's radio to me.
Musically, I don't understand like how like I know people can play covers like, but for me like that seems harder to do than to actually just come up with your own songs. Like it seems like more work to try to like learn other people's styles. It's like that seems
that as well, and not just learn their songs, but learn their intonation and to learn their phrasing and to actually look like that person and to walk like that person. And it's just,
Chris is really good at I mean, he can play like Guns N' Roses. He'll play along to it. It's like, what the hell?
Well, that's not hard music or anything, but that's like a joke. But like, yeah, I mean, it's easy to play
Guns N'
songs.
Roses. It sounds complicated.
But to play songs like you're saying, like in the whole style with the whole, look and you gotta do whatever they do on stage or something. Like I don't like just do a band, just put together your own band, right?
Yeah, right. And that's the fun bit, at the end of the day. Well, I always thought it was. I just thought, always thought, hanging with other people that you enjoy spending time with and making stuff up out of nothing. That's the joyous bit
it is
of
fun.
music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the best part. We
have
a little new baby.
I have a few friends that have asked, they're like, let's start a Go-Go's cover band. I'm like,
oh, really? It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather do this. And the thing that none of those bands ever get to experience is they never get to experience their music actually then played.
Isn't it weird? Sorry, it's so funny. This camera's reversed or something.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, we've got most of your ear throughout most of this, so there you go.
I'm holding the phone. I don't know what happened to our tripod. It's missing.
It's fine. It looks edgy. It looks like a 1980s music documentary, which is great. So we can feel like we're back in the 1980s with that.
We can change some colors
or something from the Tube or something of that era, which was such a great program. But yeah, no, I don't get it. I mean, at the end of the day, when you produce something for yourself and then you put it out there, you get a reaction to what you've done, and that's nice. Whether it's a good reaction or a bad reaction, you get some feedback from people from what you've done. To put other people's stuff out there all the time,
right?
What you're finding out whether you're a good carbon copy. That's about it. But I always loved the idea of, I've got this set of words, I've got this set of sounds, I've got this tune, I've put that out in front of people,
right?
And they, if I get one or two people clapping or smiling from it, hey, that's enough. Because
exactly. I mean, the first show I ever played, I got spit on. So like,
you got spit on?
Yeah.
Damn.
A lot. So
that's rock and roll, right?
It's good. At least it's better than just people not doing anything.
Yeah.
I got a plastic bottle thrown at me, and in Birmingham. Birmingham. Yeah.
Okay. Birmingham over there, I presume, not Birmingham over here.
No, over there.
Over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I apologise for the people of Birmingham right now, and people of Birmingham, if you're listening, shame on you. That's dreadful behaviour. How often have you played over here, by the way?
I think we've toured there 3 times.
And we done 3 tours, yeah.
All right.
And then just the UK 3 times, yeah.
Cool. Have you ever been to the Southwest, where I am?
Where are you?
I'm in the Southwest, so Bristol, Exeter area.
Yeah.
We played Bristol, yeah.
Cool.
I can't remember where, but we played somewhere there. We didn't go like all the way southwest.
No.
But
well, a little bit further southwest is Exeter. You could probably do Exeter next time.
We might come to Cornwall in August if this festival still happens. But
really? Okay, cool. What festival's that?
It's called Boardmasters.
Excellent. Surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our music gets placed in a lot of surfing movies.
Right. can see why. And you like surfing yourself, or have you never tried it?
Well, I grew up in a beach town, and I did surf when I was a kid, but I can't anymore. I don't think I would.
Yeah, we don't really do sports, but I think it's a good sign if skaters and surfers like your music, then that's a good sign.
Yeah.
No, I love it because I grew up in a town where there was just tons of surfing and skateboarding, and that's what I was into when I was a kid for a minute.
What's it about that culture that you like then? Is it the kind of sharing nature of that culture? Is it the fact that they're that they have got their own sort of youth culture to it?
I haven't really given it enough thought to know. I just, it's just what was going on.
It's a little bit rebellious, isn't it?
It's familiar, it's just.
Yeah.
Little small town and kids skateboarding and people riding their bikes with their surfboards. It just takes me back to my childhood.
No, it's brilliant. Well, listen, I really have enjoyed listening to the record. All right. So, and I'm going to continue to listen to it and annoy the rest of my family with it as much as possible. They're a lot of the family are still quite young and deeply into their ABBA. Interestingly, though, they're not into a lot of the modern music, which may say something actually about the fact that some of it is rubbish.
Some of it, not all of it.
No, not all of it. In any generation, there's good stuff and there's bad stuff.
Right.
That's always been the case. And it's about wheedling through all of that. So, in terms of the future for you, are you going to start work on another album now you've completed this one?
Yeah, we have another record. We've got half of it written and recorded so far.
Cool. How different is it from this one?
It's maybe a little more dancey.
A little more dancey. Okay. And then there's going to be a sort of hidden track somewhere towards the end that's very Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. We have a 7.
It got him thinking now.
We have a 7-inch coming out in May. It's it's the Angel Dust song, and then another song, a new one.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so you a little bit of collection between the two albums to get a bit of continuity in there.
So we'll send you a copy.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I keep a record player, an actual record player, on my desk.
Oh, great.
I think it's an essential office item. I think you can you can do without other items in the office, paper shredders, things like that, dustbins. You just throw it on the floor, but record players have to be in the room. So, and in this day and age of streaming, I try and get people to go back to physical copies of things as much as possible.
Yeah.
With regards to that, just so people know, and if they're tuning in, I've seen people coming in and out as we've been talking. If people want to get hold of your music, where do you feel is the best place for them to get it?
Our album is on Bandcamp and Spotify and iTunes, Apple.
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah, Bandcamp is good place to go though.
We just got on there after all these years.
Yeah, I've got 2 songs on Bandcamp. Don't listen to them. They're quite electronically. Sorry.
What is your band called?
No, it's called Graham Coath. It's just me. Yeah, just check Graham Coath on it. It's pretty weird stuff. Okay, it's quite electronic. You might enjoy it actually. But it's me. One of them's me, and then another one's me and a female singer called Artemis.
Oh, okay.
And I've just cut. She did some wonderful. She did an album of just like vocal layers.
Nice.
That she sent me, and then she allowed me to cut them up, which was fun. The whole thing was just fun. But yeah, Bandcamp I've always liked, and I'm glad you're on there. A, because they support musicians and they give them a little bit more money, and B, because I quite like the way that it's curated by people.
It doesn't remind you of the old MySpace where you can pick your colors and
exactly that. Yeah, and I just like the fact that fans actually curate it as a site as well.
Right.
Yeah, this is not sort of someone within the record industry going, well, this is what's good, and the rest of that I don't really care about because I'm not making any money out of it. Yeah. It's fans actually saying this is great. And the other bit that's really good about it is that fans kind of lead people through sort of the connectivity between bands as well. So they say, well, if you like this, then you might like to listen to this, right. And they kind of make those sonic connections for people, which is quite nice as well. So I wish you all the success with this album, and I wish you a lot of success on Bandcamp as well. Hopefully after this we'll get a deluge of people going to check it all out. That would be great. So thank you very much, Magic Wands, for talking to me. When you do finally get to the UK, let me know, and let me know the dates, and I will make sure I come and see you live in real time, yes. With a beer or something, whatever your poison is. Are you beer drinkers?
I haven't had a beer since 2019. So.
Really? No?
Yeah, we're not.
Are you that locked down?
Not really.
I mean, I've started. I actually had some drinks last night. I had whiskey and ginger ale.
Whiskey and ginger ale, lovely. There you go.
Ladies' drink.
Oh, I don't know. I think men can drink that as well. Let's we live in the modern age. Well, we'll come and find you at a venue somewhere, either in Bristol or further south.
Yes, please do.
Okay, lovely to speak to you both,
care.
and thanks for your time. Bye for now. Bye.